If you drop these slang terms into a conversation today, most kids would look at you like you're speaking another language. Here are the words and phrases that defined growing up in Britain, but mean nothing to Gen Z. 1. Bob's your uncle and Fanny's your aunt. Let's start with a classic. Bob's your uncle was the magic phrase that meant, there you go, it's sorted, job done. Whether you were explaining how to make a cup of tea or how to fix a leaky tap, you'd finish with Bob's your uncle. And if you were feeling cheeky, you'd add, and Fanny's your aunt. Today's kids would probably just stare blankly, but for us, it was the ultimate way to say, easy as that. 2. Knackered. If you were absolutely exhausted, you were knackered. After a long shift, a night out, or just a tough day at school, you'd flop onto the sofa and declare, I'm knackered. It's a word that packs more punch than just tired, and if you said it to a teenager today, they'd probably think you were talking about horses. 3. Don't get shirty. Don't get shirty with me. Translation, don't get rude, stroppy, or cheeky. This was a favourite of parents and teachers everywhere. If you started answering back, you'd get a warning glare and a reminder not to get shirty. These days, you're more likely to hear, don't catch an attitude, but it just doesn't have the same ring. 4. Throw a wobbly. If someone threw a wobbly, it meant they had a tantrum or lost their temper in spectacular fashion. Whether it was your mate after losing at Subbuteo or your dad when the telly packed in, a proper wobbly was a sight to behold. Today's kids might say, had a meltdown, but it's just not as fun. 5. Spend a penny, need the loo? You'd spend a penny. This phrase harks back to the days when public toilets cost a penny to use, but it's stuck around for decades. Hang on, I need to spend a penny was the polite way to excuse yourself. Try saying that in a modern school and see how many confused looks you get. 6. Gone pear-shaped. When things went wrong, they went pear-shaped. Whether it was a dodgy DIY job or a disastrous date. If it didn't go to plan, it went pear-shaped. Today's kids might say it flopped or it was a fail, but nothing captures the disappointment quite like this classic. 7. Up the duff. If someone was up the duff, it meant they were pregnant. It was cheeky, a bit naughty, and definitely not something you'd say in front of your nan. Now, you're more likely to hear expecting or preggers, gotcha, but up the duff had a certain British charm. 8. Not my cup of tea. If something wasn't to your taste, it was not my cup of tea. Whether it was music, food, or a TV show, this was the polite way to say no thanks. Today's kids might just say, not for me, but where's the fun in that? 9. Cheap as chips. If something was a bargain, it was cheap as chips. Whether it was a new pair of shoes or a second-hand bike, if it didn't cost much, it was cheap as chips. These days you might hear, that's a steal, but nothing says value like a plate of chips. 10. Full of beans. If you were energetic and lively, you were full of beans. Kids bouncing off the walls after a birthday party. They're full of beans. It's a phrase that's faded, but it perfectly captured that unstoppable childhood energy. 11. Chuffed. To bits. To be chuffed meant you were really pleased or proud. I was chuffed to bits with my exam results. It's still around, but you don't hear it much from the younger crowd. Today, it's all about being buzzing or hyped. 12. Taking the mickey or piss. If someone was taking the mickey, they were mocking or making fun of you. The ruder version, taking the piss, was everywhere in the playground. If you were the butt of the joke, you'd shout, "Oi! Stop taking the mickey!" These days it's roasting or trolling, but it's not quite the same. 13. A few sandwiches, short of a picnic. If someone wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed, they were a few sandwiches short of a picnic. It was a gentle way to say someone was a bit daft. Today's kids might say he's a bit slow, but this phrase had a certain British kindness to it. 14. Lost the plot. If you lost the plot, you'd gone mad or lost control. Whether it was your mate after a bad breakup or your mum when you forgot her birthday, losing the plot was a step beyond just being upset. 15. On the pull. If you were on the pull, you were out looking for romance or a snog behind the bike sheds. Saturday night at the disco, everyone was on the pull. Now it's on the prowl or shooting your shot, but it's not as cheeky. 16. Give us a bell. Give us a bell meant call me. Before mobiles, you'd arrange to meet up and say, give us a bell when you're leaving. Now it's drop me a text, but the old phrase had a ring to it. 17. Bagsy. To bagsy something was to claim it first. Bagsy front seat. It was the law of the playground, and woe betide anyone who tried to break it. Today's kids might say dibs yapt, but bagsy was the original. 18. Gordon Bennett. An exclamation of surprise or frustration. Gordon Bennett, that was loud. No one really knew who Gordon Bennett was, but everyone said it. Now it's oh my days or what the hell, but nothing beats a good Gordon Bennett. 19. Donkey's years. If you hadn't seen someone in ages, it had been donkey's years. I haven't seen you in donkey's years. It's a phrase that's slowly disappearing, but it's pure British nostalgia. 20. I'm skint brassic. If you were broke, you were skint, or brassic, in some parts. Can't come out, I'm skint. Now it's broke or strapped, but skint just sounds more honest. 21. It's a doddle. If something was easy, it was a doddle. That test was a doddle. Today's kids might say light work, but doddle had a certain charm. 22. I'm off to Bedfordshire. Going to bed? I'm off to Bedfordshire. It was a gentle, silly way to say goodnight. Now it's just, I'm going to bed. But where's the fun in that? 23. He's a right plonker. A plonker was a fool or an idiot. Don't listen to him. He's a right plonker. Thanks to Only Fools and Horses, this one's legendary, but it's fading fast. 24. I'm just popping to the offie. The offie was the off license, the shop where you bought booze. Back in a sec, just popping to the offie. Now it's the corner shop or convenience store, but offie was a staple. 25. Wally. A Wally was a silly person or a fool. Don't be such a Wally. It's been replaced by Muppet or Donut, but Wally was the original. 26. Mardy. If you were sulky or moody, you were Mardy. Stop being so Mardy. It's still heard in the Midlands and North, but it's rare elsewhere. 27. The simple and sweet, ta just meant thank you. It's still around, but less common with the younger crowd. 28. Blimey. An exclamation of surprise. Blimey, look at that! It's a word that's pure British, but now sounds like something from a period drama. 29. Snog. To snog was to kiss passionately. Did you snog him at the party? Now it's get with or lips, but snog was the word. 30. Kerfuffle. A kerfuffle was a commotion or fuss. What's all the kerfuffle about? Now it's drama, but kerfuffle just sounds better. 31. Barmy. If someone was mad or crazy, they were barmy. He's gone barmy. Now it's mad or mental. 32. To bodge, something was to fix it badly. He's done a right bodge job on that. Now it's a hack or DIY fail. 33. Gander. To have a gander was to have a look. Let's have a gander at that. Now it's peek or look. 34. Fag. A fag was a cigarette. I'm popping out for a fag. Now it's cig or smoke, and the word's meaning has changed elsewhere. 35. Jammy. If you were lucky, you were jammy. He's so jammy, always wins the raffle. Now it's lucky or blessed. 36. Daft. If you were silly or foolish, you were daft. Don't be daft. Still used, but less common. 37. Minted. If you were rich, you were minted. She's absolutely minted. Now it's loaded. 38. Bobby was a policeman. Ask a Bobby for directions. Now it's cop or police. 39. Tickety-boo. If everything was fine, it was tickety-boo. It's all tickety-boo. Now it's all good or chill. 40. Naff. If something was uncool or rubbish, it was naff. That jumper is so naff. Now it's basic or cringe. 41. Gutted. If you were devastated or deeply disappointed, you were gutted. I was gutted when United lost. Still around, but less common. 42. A brolly was an umbrella. Don't forget your brolly, it's tipping it down. Now it's just umbrella. 43. Chinwag. A chinwag was a chat or gossip. Let's have a chinwag. Now it's catch up or chat. 44. Gobsmacked. If you were amazed or astonished, you were gobsmacked. I was gobsmacked at the news. Still used, but less by the young. 45. Mug. A mug was a fool. Someone easily tricked. Don't be a mug. Now it's clown or donut. 46. Pooker. If something was genuine or top quality, it was pooker. That's a pooker meal. Now it's legit or top. 47. Scrummy. If food was delicious, it was scrummy. That cake was scrummy. Now it's lush or peng. 48. Sussed. If you'd figured something out, you'd sussed it. I've sussed out the answer. Now it's clocked or got it. 49. Telly. The telly was the television. What's on the telly tonight? Now it's TV or Netflix. 50. Zonked. If you were extremely tired or asleep, you were zonked. I was zonked after that shift. Now it's dead or wiped. If you grew up in Britain, these words and phrases were part of everyday life, at home, at school, in the playground, and down the pub. They shaped how we spoke, how we joked, and how we saw the world. Today's kids have their own slang, but there's something about these old school terms that just feels right. Which of these do you still use, and which ones would leave your kids completely baffled? Drop your favorite old school slang in the comments, and let's see if we can keep them alive for another generation.